Summit in The Hague 2025. Yes, we will change it first. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Okay, I will invite the first speaker.
Thank you very much, Conrad. So we have gathered here in The Hague in the midst of World War III. This is a place where the imperialists devise their plans. They want to escalate this war, as we have seen the Zionist attack on Iran and the US involvement in that. We can see that they want to put the world in chaos in order to keep their waning dominance. We, of course, came here to oppose that. We don't want the conflict to reach the level of the nuclear annihilation of humanity. So, we believe that all the anti-imperialist and socialist forces of the world have to stand together against the imperialist alliance, against NATO, and we think that we will be victorious in this struggle. Thank you very much.
Okay, we chant again. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Okay, now we move to the Georgian conference.
Друзья, сегодня мы собрались здесь в Гааге для того, чтобы сказать, высказать свой протест против НАТО, против тех, кто собрались для того, чтобы дальше вооружаться, дальше расширяться и дальше усиливаться, как всемирные полицейские, для того, чтобы порабощать народы, наши народы. НАТО сегодня стало для всего мира всемирной опасностью. Она несет опасность для всех народов, в том числе и тех народов и стран, где она родилась. И это очевидно, несмотря на то, что нет коммунистической угрозы, несмотря на то, что нет Советского Союза уже 30 лет, все равно НАТО расширяется, вооружается, разбухается, и она становилась военно-политической организацией, которая угрожает всему миру. Поэтому мы говорим «нет НАТО», и все народы, все свободолюбивые народы, все прогрессивно мыслящие люди вместе с нами. И скоро мы станем очевидцами, когда все народы мира восстанут против этого зла под названием НАТО. Долой НАТО! Да здравствует прогресс! Да здравствует социализм! Да здравствует дружба между народами!
Ура! Ура!
We gather here to express our protest against NATO, against the NATO expansion, because NATO was one aggressive power. NATO was created as an anti-communist organization, but no matter that today there is no communist threat. NATO still exists, it still expands, gain force around the world. So we're here to say no to NATO and lobby the progress and the socialism. Hurrah!
Thank you, comrades. We chant again. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
From the river to the sea! From the river to the sea! Okay, now we invite the speaker from Greece.
Hello, dear friends and comrades. I'm very happy to be together with you today in that symbolic demonstration against the summit of NATO here in Hague. NATO was instituted about 49 after the Second World War, just to be an instrument, an armed hand against communism, against socialism, against progressive humanity. That was the main instrument for the so-called Cold War. But although the Soviet Union and the early socialist countries in Europe don't exist anymore, the NATO is developing, is getting farther and farther, deeper and deeper, and nowadays, during the Third World War, NATO is working as the armed aspect, the armed instrument of imperialist acts against the majority of humanity, against anti-imperialism, against socialism, against progressive forces all over the world. Somebody thinks that NATO is not something dangerous for people in Europe especially. They used to take part in massacres and genocides which are usually far from the Europe, and they have some illusions that they are very secure and safe here in the middle or in the North Europe. But this is not true. Just have a look, for example, on the range of the missiles and rockets, for example, of Iranian army. You can find that if Iranians will continue to fight against American and NATO bases around their country, around the East Asia, even Holland, even Spain, even Britain are not secure, are not safe. And I'm talking about that because some people think that this is an abstract issue. It's a theoretical issue, that Third World War. It is none of our business. It's our business. But if you will begin to feel the power of the strategic missiles of the countries which are attacked, it will be very late to rethink about your position, dear Hollands, dear European citizens. So think again about that, and think why we, in our World Anti-Imperialist Platform, we are trying to organize, we are trying to consolidate all the anti-imperialist and socialist powers against the main enemy of humanity during the Third World War, against the war machine of NATO, against the organ who want to to turn to slavery all the humanity using the brutal military power.
Thank you, comrade. We chant again. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Stop bombing Iran!
Stop bombing Iran!
Stop bombing Iran!
Stop bombing Iran!
Okay, now we will hear from the Korean comrade. Stop the war machine! Down with Zionism! When the world stays silent, we must speak out. The Zionist regime has crossed every red line. In June 2025, they bombed Iran's nuclear batteries and energy plant, massacring civilians and assassinating scientists. Children were among the victims. This is not defense. It is premeditated, impressed war. But Israel is not acting alone. Behind them stand U.S. imperialism, NATO's war machine, and the global network of domination. From Gaza to Lebanon, from Damascus to Tehran, our war of conquest is unfolding, orchestrated by those who seek to redroll the map of West Asia in broad. Over 55,000 Palestinians have been struggled since October 2023. Syria's government has been overthrown. Lebanon and Iran are under constant threat. Still, Iran has shown restraint, refusing to be brought into a wider war. It is not Iran, not Palestine, not the resistance forces, but Zionist Israel and its imperialist bakers who are pushing for regional collapse. This is not just about West Asia. From East Europe to Pacific, the storm of World War III is brewing. NATO expands, US forces threaten Asia, and imperialism torments chaos across the globe. This system is not broken. It is functioning exactly as designed to profit from war and crush resistance. But we are not helpless. The people are awakening. The people are uniting. From Palestine to Korea, from Iran to Venezuela, a global front against imperialist war is forming. And the bombings dismantle Zionism, smash U.S. imperialism, victory to the anti-imperialist struggles. Thank you. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
We will hear another Korean comment. Disband NATO, the headquarters of imperialist war. On June 24, the NATO summit will convene in The Hague. The key agenda points include support for Ukraine, increased military spending, and the expansion of defense industry production capacity. At the NATO defense ministers meeting on June 5, a goal of allocating 5% of GDP to military expenditure was proposed, combining 3.5% for core defense spending with 1.5% for defense infrastructure and resilience. This target is expected to be officially resolved at the upcoming summit. In connection with this, on June 18, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy claimed that Russia is already a direct threat to the European Union, and further asserted that last year Russia spent more on defense than the European Union combined, thereby applying pressure for increased military budgets. Meanwhile, NATO has once again invited the IP4 Indo-Pacific partners, the Republic of Korea, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, to this year's summit. NATO's very existence is a disaster for all of humanity. To the people of Europe, NATO is an exploiter and a plunderer. The average national debt ratio of EU member states now stands at a staggering 88.1%, while the cost of energy and overall prices continue to soar, and the livelihood of ordinary Europeans have long been in ruins. The primary cause of this crisis lies in European imperialist powers' full-scale involvement in the war in Ukraine. Nevertheless, European warmongers insist on prolonging the conflict, escalating aggressive schemes against Russia, and using the war as a pretext to of Europe further to the brink. NATO has openly expanded its military expense while committing invasion and massacres, as clearly demonstrated in its 1999 aggression against Kosovo, as well as its interventions in war in Afghanistan and the Libyan civil war in the 2000s. Today, NATO serves as the war headquarters for the imperialist camp's new Cold War strategy, obsessed with the preparations for World War III. The Israeli invasion on Iran, launched just prior to the NATO summit, is a development of serious concern. This attack reflects a sinister scheme to derail Trump's negotiations with Iran and to prevent the withdrawal of U.S. from NATO. Additionally, the Bartov's 2025 naval exercise conducted on June 3 intensified military provocations against Russia, serving as a prelude to the meanwhile, the decision to invite the IP4 for the fourth consecutive years. Once again, under constraint, the severity of the emerging East Asia and West Pacific war front as a result of NATO's pacificization. The humiliating decision to drastically shorten the summit schedule to accommodate Trump's shows NATO cannot function without the United States. The more the war intensifies, the more the vulnerabilities of the imperialist camp inevitably become exposed. The peoples of the world will dismantle NATO, the imperialist war headquarters, defeat imperialism, and achieve true peace and independence in all nations through our world anti-imperialist struggles. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Thank you. We will chant again. Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
Disband NATO!
We will keep struggle against the NATO summit approaching the World War III. Thank you very much, comrades.